TV so na waso so awutie ne the Bora is na ne Bora or Sammy Gyamfi akachi papa e di mo akotene power the National Democratic Congress mu na ne ko share ne e TV so live program e ko so ne se NPP ni papa no so di e Japan mesa o na ko share we the program national akasakasa bi pa so to Sammy Gyamfi the use West bi na say West no na se fata ko to use West bi say Sensēless and say anko e Japan mesa de anko e to no so de so kan se bi ni na no no so de ko so program na so to say in fact Sammy Gyamfi ahwe pa you this West or use will lead into a big trouble no so say about my put a reaction as say Sammy Gyamfi so de so use any West and say fata o use ni na my put in some e ko so
things he's saying.
And I'm not sure you because you know that what he's saying is totally baseless. How so?
Number one, on your claim that I've bastardized the court. He says I've bastardized the court because I say that the courts have done injustice to Gyamfi. That is bastardization of the court. Is that what we were taught in the law school? Maza, when we are haven't you drafted a notice of appeal before? The standard formats for drafting notice of appeal. What are some of the grounds? That the decision of the courts below constitutes a gross miscarriage of justice. What is the meaning of that? What is the meaning of miscarriage of justice? You've not heard. Oh, hold on. Let's go one by one. Let's go one after the other. What is the meaning of travesty of justice? Hold on. What is the meaning of travesty of justice?
You think that it's don't you hear lawyers words like that?
Chief, you've had your time. Chief, you've had your time. You see, I'm not one of those that you can blackmail and incite me against a cause against me.
I'm not inciting because I know what I'm saying. I'm only saying what is the meaning. I don't think that words like senseless.
Am I here to talk about it?
Okay.
That's all.
Am I here to talk about
let's go.
Yeah, you think?
Go on.
Let's start from your point about injustice. I'm saying that what is the meaning of travesty of justice? When lawyers stand on their feet in court of appeals, challenging decisions of court below, and they describe decisions of the courts or rulings of the courts as travesty of justice. Does that amount to bastardization of the court? How can it's a mere statement that the decision by the court in that same of matter has done injustice to Kwesi amount to bastardization of the court? Look at the desperation you are displaying. Then now he says that I said that the decision of the court is senseless. Stop. You people, you can lie. On this very platform, you are lying. Have I used the word senseless? That decision. I said the decision of the. Hold on. Is that the same as senseless?
What
if you are quoting me. You don't want to ask this man. You are a long-standing member of this show. You know the rules. Let me have my time.
Yes.
These are very serious matters. Look, I have not said any decision is senseless. Those are your words. Yes. You know that, so don't lie. I said the decision of the court in that sense of matter doesn't make sense in the light of the rules and the facts. What is wrong with that? Haven't you seen lawyers and judges describing court decisions as absurd? You've not heard the word absurd before. Do you know the meaning of absurd?
Okay.
Do you know the meaning of absurd? Don't encourage him to. You heard judges and lawyers describe decisions as unreasonable? What's the meaning of unreasonable? Don't you hear it in court every day? Haven't you been a practitioner for many years? So as for you, because of politics, you've thrown all the law you've studied away, and now you're only engaged in mischief. See, you know these things, so please don't do that. Don't do that. Because what you're doing is dangerous. You're sitting here creating an impression that Sammy Gyamfi says the court is senseless. When I've never said that. You know what I said. And you know that what I've said is very in line with legal balance, and I've said nothing really? So stop the blackmail and let's discuss the substantive issues. Then he says that Sakande, he tries again to compare the Sakande case to the Gyamfi matter. Look, had Sakande renounced or applied to renounce his British citizenship 1 year before he was elected as Member of Parliament, how do you equate that to Gyamfi, who applied to renounce his Canadian citizenship as far back as December 2019 and never used his Canadian citizenship for anything, never used his Canadian passport for anything? You, Sakande, you were sitting in Parliament with 3 passports whilst being a dual national not even triple nationality, because he says he's a Burkinabe by birth. On his Burkinabe travel document, his place of birth is Burkina Faso. And then he says that he's a citizen of Britain too, and he holds a British passport. And while sitting in parliament, you travel. Listen, by your conduct, the Jomoro MP has been acquitted, or you don't know, the case against the election petition against her has been dismissed. So while sitting in parliament, by your conduct, you travel on those passports. That's clearly upholding your allegiance or citizenship of those other countries. And if you don't know, the report you read only presented you with partial facts. Let me read to you another report from the same Ghana web, titled, dated 12 August 2009, titled MP Holds 3 Passports. And this story is a report on the evidence in chief of an immigration officer in charge of Kotoka International Airport, Nolasco Miedu, who testified against Adamu Sakande. And the story reads: the witness who said this in his examination in chief, led by Miss Gertrude Akins, Acting Director of Public Prosecutions, in a court presided over by Justice Charles Quist, also quoted various passport numbers as well as the expiry days used by the accused person to travel. I'm talking about Sakande, as well as his date of birth on various certificates. In addition, the immigration officer also read information on the places of birth of the accused person, while the date of the birth of the embattled MP on the 3 purported passports remained the same. Mr. Nyedu also read out information on the documents which showed that while he was said to have been born in Boko on the Ghanaian and British passports, he was said to have been born in Burkina Faso on the Burkinabe passports. Everything is stated in there. So that was what that case was about. And I still maintain what I told you, that at the time, save the time Honorable Kwesi picked his nomination forms, he had his certificate of renunciation at the time of submitting his forms, at the time of his election. Because even if you look at the representation of people's law, it talks about being qualified to contest at the time of your election. At the time of your election, not at the time of picking nomination forms or submitting nomination forms. Because really, what did the framers of the 1992 Constitution intend to achieve by the provisions of Article 94 against dual allegiance? Did they seek to prevent a person from picking nomination forms or submitting nomination forms whilst holding dual allegiance? Certainly not. What they sought to prevent was having a person sit in parliament as a member of parliament for Ghana, making laws for us, while holding dual allegiance. And I'm saying that in the case of Kwesi, at the time of his election, at the time of him being sworn in, and at the time he served in parliament as a member of parliament, he never at any material time had dual nationality or dual allegiance. And that is why, for me, I say that this case is a travesty of justice, and that the case doesn't make sense in the light of the law and the facts. And finally, if you look at the arguments that Honorable Kwesi has advanced in his declaration of intent, he talks about what precedents of the Supreme Court about their own lack of jurisdiction in election petition matters. He cites the J.H. Mensah case. He cites the Baba Jama case. He reads to you what justices of the Supreme Court who presided on this case have said on similar matters previously, where disputes over parliamentary elections were brought to the Supreme Court, and the court was called upon to invalidate those elections. The Supreme Court indicated clearly that that was not the forum for invalidating any parliamentary election. And that when it comes to parliamentary election, the forum is the High Court. This matter first of all went to the High Court. The Cape Coast High Court gave a certain decision. It was appealed against, and that process was ongoing. And then a fresh writ was issued in the Supreme Court, seeking to declare the entire election of Gyamfi Kwesi as unconstitutional. And our position, which was articulated, canvassed by lawyer Chachuchi Kata, who represented Gyamfi Kwesi, was that the Supreme Court lacked jurisdiction in the light of their own previous decisions, as has been quoted in the statement you read from Honorable Gyamfi Kwesi, where they have stated verbatim, including the most recent case of Fohoy involving Peter Mewu, which ended up in the Supreme Court. When these same judges said that, look, what you are seeking to invalidate is a parliamentary election, go back to the High Court. If you have a problem with what the High Court has done, go to the Court of Appeal. It is only constitutional matters that arise in the course of the High Court trial that are supposed to be referred to the Supreme Court. But to issue a fresh writ in the Supreme Court seeking to invalidate a parliamentary election, and the justices of the Supreme Court who have in previous decisions indicated that the Supreme Court have no such jurisdiction in
any clash can say possible between Sammy Gyamfi in power the National Democratic Congress Sansu na say Japan mess on Sudi in power the New Patriotic Party in Kofumi Lukushia program can say good morning show so now say we are the to na dream man no pass Sammy Gyamfi the west you say that say self attack as na be kan you see west senseless and na koye Japan mess on so the so can see no so sem about one time be betumi akọ comment section na so akọ kire wa bi na nya bra so betumi akenkan e di ama aha I am commating Sumi America Sebo every meeting at the Obindi Osechi background.